Welcome to our video for March the 6th. Of course, everybody knows the market had a big move today, and I totally missed it. And that happens sometime. You get your mind locked into what you had in mind, and you just don't react. And by the time I realized that it was going, I didn't want to react and chase anything, so I pretty much sat on hands after a couple of decent little shorts early, and one of which I ended up breaking even. I let it go back about 80 cents against me, just trying to stay in the trade to the short side, and the other I captured some gains and really didn't do anything else the rest of the day. The market was kind of chopping at that time, and then by the time the market started to show signs of really moving, the stocks already were well ahead of it. So I didn't want to chase anything, and I didn't see a single pullback that didn't just advance further as it should have based on the charts of the individual stocks. But anyway, big miss for me. Happens sometimes. I'm more disappointed in the lack of missed opportunities than having a bad day. It's the bad day was that I missed the opportunities. But let's take a look at what we got. This is the Dow. This morning, go back and just look at this thing on like a 10-minute chart. It spent a lot of time right down in here. And I'll say a lot of time. About 10:30 is when the remarks came out, I think, about the tariff and trying to talk the president out of not going forward. I think that was from Ryan's office. And so I'm watching the market chop sideways and actually picked up a nice PRGO short. And then I got in a CMA short, and it's the one I let bounce and just gave back my profit on it, and I had about 90 cents at the lows on that one. And while that was all happening, we were watching Caterpillar as well. And I actually took a small loss on Caterpillar, like 12 cents a share. Got in it. It did move down from where I got in the short at. And when it turned back up, I said, I don't like the chart. I got out. This line's actually a weekly trend line I had drawn on Caterpillar over the weekend, just as a point it needed to hold, and it did. And as it started to bounce, I didn't go long because I still wasn't trusting the market, but I did post that it was progressing on our smaller factor chart, which is a lot of times for intraday trading. I just wasn't trusting the market yet, and it was coming up through the open and the close and all this area here. I didn't want to step into a wall. I did post when it crossed 147 is when it was going to be a bigger time frame long to even consider it really for a feasible long. And if you draw yourself a trend line, that would be about, you've been crossing at about 146, but I want to get through here, and then I use my other charts to zone in a little more, and that's where I had it on my breakout at 147.05, I think it was. And I was basing that off of where you saw that 1x and so forth on the futures. My 1x on this 50 factor chart was at just over 147. And that would have been about where this line intersected. Right here is where I went green zone to red zone, and that's what that X factor projection tells me is if all these things happen, this is when this system will say we got a long. And I like a bigger factor when we got a lot of big price movement. I want to step it up another factor for a longer term look at it, and it was absolutely correct. The problem was I didn't take the trade. I didn't really take any trade that was to the long side as the market started moving. So just a quick glance at our charting system, and this is just algos and how we read. Sometimes we'll have a stock way up here that's still in a red zone. I know it's going to pull back first, and that's what we teach, is how to utilize what you're seeing with the algo compared to our trend shift projection. And if we're out above it and we're still in a red zone, we know we're coming back to visit it before we go forward. And then we also, we teach two alerts. That's one to get long, and the other is a retracement as we go back with our algorithm into our trend zone, and we are testing to flip it the other way, and it holds, and we just continue on down with our trend. That's the two things we teach and two things we trade. And the bigger the factor system, the bigger the time frame, the more movement you're going to get based on that factor, and then that turns into swing trades. Get over here back to the markets. The Dow, nice day here. Still got the 50-day up here. And you know, if you looked at this on a 5-minute chart, it just looks like chop. So that's still where we're at. All it takes is another remark by the president that, you know, I'm not changing my mind about this, and we go right back down most likely. Here's your SP 500 approaching the 50-day. Your SPY actually almost touched it today. Within about 15 cents, I believe. The high there was 89 cents, 18, so about 20 cents off of actually touching the 50. And I put a little more stock in what happens when the S&P actually touches the 50. We may get this little movement and head back down. This is a cycle. Target 1, target 2, target 1, target 2, back down. So we'll see what happens. I still think, especially with a little bit of news and chatter out there, this is very likely going to go back down here and revisit one of these two trend lines on the bottom. We will see. We just need to trade. If you're intraday trading or option trading, trade these opportunities, and you know, on the short-term stuff, and let the market figure this out before you start taking real long-term positions. We'll do the 3-minute Q&A on the chart lines, and then we'll get right over to these charts. This is a mini tutorial on what the lines mean on my charts if you're a first-time viewer or been a while since you viewed. We're scanning on weekly and daily charts for my condition. When this green line is up, it's my bull zone, and when the red line is up, it's my bear zone. You need to be aware of support and resistance lines and what charts do at levels, and that's what these levels are for. Just quickly as I can do this, and we're going to put a video on YouTube getting more from your swing trading charts that'll be more detailed and look at more stocks, how they react to these lines. But the gist of what you see here is this is what I'm scanning for, and as you can see here, this showed up in the bear zone. It did go down for a few days, but these green lines are support, and that's why it fought for a few days, tried to bounce back up, headed back down again, came right back into the bull zone, a bear zone, excuse me, and continued on down. Now the lines, here's what they represent. A green line is a place that a stock went up to and rejected. So as this green line redrew itself every time we made highs right here, and then it stayed across here for reference points, continues the same line here for reference points. Resistance, when you get above it, becomes support. This green line was drawn way back in the history, and when this stock broke above this resistance level, when it came back down, it held it, it held it, it held it, it tested it and held it again and again. That was support. That's why I want you to be aware of what these lines mean. You'll see them on my charts. And then the activity that stocks do, sometimes they go, that's my first target, that's my second target. Many times stocks go target 1, pull back a little, target 2, then they may pull all the way back to 1 and go again if they're continuing an uptrend. In this case, it did the pull back. This blue line is a 50-period moving average. This orange line is a 200. So that's what I want you to be aware of as well. And then I have a pivot system that consists of this blue line at the top, yellow line at the bottom, and my target 1 and target 2. you'll see this particular day this stock gap down, huge gap down, open way down here. The low on this stock was 169.68. I'm getting that right out of this box over here. And the value of that yellow line was 169.67. Within 1 cent, it held that line and bounced that day for a huge bounce. It's not a support level, but it's where I look for stocks to try to hold. It's where I look if I'm short, say from here, this is where I'm looking to get out. I'm looking to move 2 levels, target 1, target 2, going up, target 1, target 2. The pink lines all represent places the stock has gone down to and bounced. This pink line is referencing this last pivot low. So as you're selling down into it, it may bounce again. If you get below it, then it becomes resistance. And that's all these lines mean. I just want you to know what they mean going forward. Thanks for watching the video. Let's get started. Through time, I've got several comments and emails from viewers that don't subscribe to our services but do watch our videos and basically say, hey man, I'm getting some good trades off your videos. I wish there's a way I could contribute, and I don't want to sign up for a membership. So I finally went and made a donation button. You can find it 2 places. On any video, we're included at the bottom. You just click the show more button, and shortly down there you'll see support our channel, a donation through PayPal. You can click right here, pay through or make a donation through PayPal. Any amount you want to put in there is acceptable and appreciated. And then on our website, you can go to daytradersetups.com, press the YouTube menu item. It'll take you to this page, and there's a donate button there as well. And we appreciate that, appreciate the suggestion, and thank you ahead of time for any donations sent. We appreciate it a lot. Remember, we're looking for 2 things. One, the top red line or the top green line are my bull and bear alerts becoming true. This is the level that this triggered at, and we're looking for consolidation breaks. The trigger price, which represented by this red line, is what's in this column here. I'm trying to walk you through the chart so you can tell if this is a re-alert for a continuation pattern like you would have had here as this went up and then it repeated itself, because I don't want you chasing, or like back here, this gave a long bull zone alert, gave a run sideways, and then re-entered a new higher plotted bull zone for the continuation on up. Just trying to walk you through the charts, let you take a look at them. Here's an example. You went to the bear zone back up here, base sideways, and it's trying to re-enter that again. This is not a consolidation break. Just trying to let you get a view of the chart, and you can see the pink lines represent old lows where they bounced before, and the greens represent old highs where they're rejected before. And want to make you aware of those as well, because they're support resistance lines regardless of which side they come into them from. Comes in from the bottom, it's resistance. Apologize for the noise there. That's our other system loading up a watch list for tonight's video for our subscribers. This is your weekly bull data. Been up here in this base, has actually triggered this a couple of times. It is probably in a consolidation and has really started the breakout here. And this is the little yellow line we put here. It indicates the power trend, and it's still maintaining it even though it spent 5 weeks here. It's never lost the luster of the move. It's just been in hesitation with all this market, and it's stepped up a little more today, and just enough to trigger out and back into the weekly bull. Just trying to walk you through these charts as quickly as I can. First week this just showed up here on the bull zone and has been in a pretty good little consolidation here for a while. And XL, this was just a gap up into the ozone. It looks like it's been up here before, so I'm not This is a monthly chart I'm looking at. It's been much higher in the past. The green lines tell me without having to go back and look at a lot of yearly charts and so forth. But I don't know what that is. Obviously some kind of something news driven. We'll look at the dailies and we'll wind this down with a recap. While you're here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on Twitter or StockTwits at Daytrader Setups. And our website is daytradersetups.com and swingtradersetups.com. Don't forget, this video is being brought to you by our premium alerts at swingtradersetups.com. They're real-time alerts. They're posted on our website, and we're looking at our bull zone weekly and daily breakouts and our bear zone weekly and daily breakouts that are in one category on the website. And there are other categories that are more aggressive for the more active trader as well. And by having a subscription to that service, you get all these alerts intraday as they happen, and one subscription gets you access to everything, as well as our chart system. If you would like to get it, I can set you up a couple of different ways to have the green and pink lines available for your charts as you review. Let's go forward. Only thing reaching the daily bear zone was Weight Watchers today, and this is not a consolidation break. It's a sell-off after earnings. This is just a great example. If you just watch earnings stocks that create price action, you can make a lot of money just trading those. And this stock, from a day of earnings, gapped up and has sold off quite considerably. Now it is down into a support line where it is held about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Where you're plotting right in here is this $61 area, and on your weekly chart, that's going to be the low right here, this candle. So that's that base, is what that pink line on the daily is. And also look back here on this weekly. This was a high at $60.30 at some point way back in the past. That was a resistance point, which was a resistance point for a very long time. That it took it to ever get back there. That's now your support line, $60.30. That's what you want to hold here. That's a pretty big area because it's been there so long, and it took it a long time to ever get back through it. The daily bull list is long, and remember, we run our alerts on 400 symbols over on our website. A lot of stocks on this list. We're going to try to walk through them real fast. A lot of the stocks in the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry, I noticed a lot of them really moving today. INCY is on here. Amgen had a big day. VRTX, another good day. It's been in a pretty good uptrend anyway. We're just going to run through these as fast as we can. You do got a little consolidation here that's occurred in the last few weeks that ILNY trying to break out of up through the 50-day here. This is not a day trading machine unless you've got a wide range for stops, because that stock moves sometimes 80-cent spreads. I trade it every now and then, but I don't trade it when it's like that. You have to catch it at just the right spot. If it's trying to negotiate through something like VWAP or an Ohio low, yesterday's close, that's when it gets really volatile. Just moving through the list. Got the 50-day right there. That's what your blue line is. This orange line is your 200-day. This is not a consolidation break. It's just reversing back up off the bottom. Little consolidation here on Clorox, and it did go down and hold these lows from a while back. very hard day trader as well. This is a hard stock to day trade as well too. There's a lot of these stocks, you get familiar with the personalities of your spreads, and they should caution you away from certain stocks. It's just not worth the risk unless unless you're option trading. You can take that break, and I'm gonna take this option position, and it's not going to move around like this price is, and I'm just going to ride it out. I'm committed to the uptrend. But when you try to do a day trade on a stock like that, or like several of these that came up, that you get familiar with how they jerk the spreads around, and you know which ones you don't want to be trying to day trade. INSEE gave a really nice run today. It broke out on our alerts early in the morning here, or about lunchtime when everything else did, but it was building this momentum, and it just got unbelievable nice $5 run there right into old resistance. Of course, you got to understand how far off this stock's super oversold. There's a weekly chart, so there's a long way this stock here can run if it develops and gets through some of these next areas right here. You got the 50-day right overhead, and then you got this is going to be your resistance here, 92.70, 92.91. Could give a little pullback there and then continue on up. So a really nice move by that stock. First one in a long time, 2 days in a row, and not weeky days, assertive days. We had this, I think, on a weekly last week. No, we didn't. Just had some big days last week. Stock's back to its highs. Very strong day to day, open right on above this old support resistance line, and just went straight up off the open. Don't like it. Not a penny drawdown. Breaking out as well on MU. A lot of these stocks are back near their highs, where the market, of course, is not. Here's one. This is another reason I show you the charts. You got resistance here, so it's got to get above it and hold it. It does have a little consolidation level here on the bottom. You need to go back and get you some trend lines on this chart now. You're headed toward them now, and you need to be aware of them when you get there. I'm gonna go ahead and put me in alert. Might set up a nice trade. Probably needs to be redrawn slightly. Little Papa John's off the bottom the last 4 days. You need to draw a trend line on it too. It's coming back into those areas. Let me broaden this chart out a little bit. You got this consolidation areas where my little bull zone's picking this up at, and you did get back through the 50-day. Walking through them pretty quick. I'm going to keep this under 30 minutes for you, even with a recap on the end. And that's a pretty big list of stocks here today, 31. Getting through the 50-day on this and the 200-day, breaking out of consolidation. Another healthcare drug stock. BRTX almost back to the highs now. This is a good example of the support and resistance lines over here on the weekly, where this stock came back, visited support, held it, revisited it 2 weeks later, held it, and continuing up. Both of these right here were hitting weekly supports. That's why I have lines on my charts. Fighting the 50-day here, you do got consolidation, and it is showing the first little peak here into the bull zone. Get out above the 50. This stock might could get some momentum going here. If you drew you a trend line here, you are about to exceed that trend line as well. Take a look at the recaps and we'll wrap this up. Remember, we just bring this recap grid up so you can go back and look at the stocks that were put on these lists over the last several days. Today, day before, day before, day before, day before. And then this is the weekly just for today. You're looking at, I'm still maintaining trend power. If I can keep this in, I'm keeping lower lows. The high of the day is not high enough to break my trend stability, and I'm maintaining the bull zone or bear zone. In this case, this was the bear zone break on Friday. This is the profit P&L based on the close of that bear zone. This is the profit based on the peak at the low since it crossed the bear zone. And this is a new bear zone level that may be the same level as before or new calculated depending on how far the stock's gone down, and it's maintaining the bear zone. That's what these boxes are for. You can look and see that this stock is not maintaining the bear zone. It had a big day today. This was the bear zone was way down here. And LB as well. Now LB didn't bounce much here. It had a green day as well. And then you got other stocks like this one that's still down in here. It's had such a big down day, but it's not in the it's not stable anymore. That's why the lines are gone. That's a good way to explain that. And most of these had green days, and that's what I was talking in the previous videos. That gives you a complete, you can pause this video and you got that whole list there. This is back on the bull zone list. The reason for showing these is so you can see what's remaining stable and what's not, and that's a little helpful thing that these yellow and green check boxes do on these watch lists. If it's still strong in the trend that was indicated by the alert or the trend break or the breakout, these will all be intact. And so that's why I give you this recap for days. If you're multi-day trading or you're in a 4 or 5 day swing trade, you're in an option trade, you can use these to assist you in evaluating if it's still got strength to keep going, and especially if we broke out of consolidation. That's stuff you got to look at the chart and figure out on your own. But that's the purpose, is these alerts. If you get breaking a good consolidation, you can get a really explosive move off these bull zone breaks. You've already seen this whole list over here. I'm trying to slide these down where you can get a good look at all the symbols that are on here from Friday and what they did today. And then we'll slide these up where you can get these lower ones. There you go. You got a chance to pause the video, see them all. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel. We went over 500 subscribers over the weekend. We appreciate you watching. Follow us on Twitter and StockTwits. Come visit our website and learn about our charting package.